Okay, right now we're going to give a presentation. Mr. Ruiz, NJGPA results. Ken.
Okay. I was gonna come over here.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, board members, acting superintendent. I want to present to you the results of our NJGPA test that we took in the spring. It's kind of self-explanatory. I'm going to walk through some of the slides and show you what exactly they entail. We're required by state law to report out any results that we have in our state testing. This month, we're going to start with NJGPA. Next month, we will do the NJSLA. So, for point of reference, I got to go. Technology, sometimes.
It's not technology.
I'll start here. All right, so this kind of gives you an overview. This gives you an overview of the statute that's required by the state. It's a proficiency assessment that's taken by 11th graders. It's designed to measure the extent to which students are graduation ready. The ELA components are aligned to 10th grade standards. Math components are aligned to Algebra 1 and geometry. Okay, next. All right, so this was adopted on May 23rd by the state, New Jersey State Board of Education. Students actually, right now, 12th graders have been retaking the NJGPA. Why is that important? Because that is a graduation assessment that if the students pass both math and ELA, they have a very clear path towards graduation. If not, then they would have to complete a portfolio. As you can see at the bottom there, complete a portfolio appeal. Students that don't pass, if they pass ELA, they clear an ELA. If they don't pass math, usually that happens a lot, then they would have to do an appeal on the math side. So this allows the state to know if students are proficient in language arts and math, and then it will give them a clear path to graduation. Okay, you can go to the next one. Just so you know, on the left, go back to that last slide, Dee. I'm sorry. No problem. To protect students' privacy data cohorts, fewer than 10 students are excluded. The state does not include student scores for groups of students that are less than 10 because they become very easily identifiable. If you know a student is in a certain program, you know exactly what student I'm talking about, and that's why we don't show results for anything less than 10 students. Go ahead, Dee. All right, so let's start. Grade 11, so you see there's a chart for grade 12. The reason it's not populated because they literally just finished taking that exam like last week, if I'm not mistaken, right? They literally just finished taking the exam last week. That gives them a second opportunity to pass the NJGPA. If you look, our current cohort of students, it just gives you the numbers from 2023, and then last year's numbers, 2024, and then the total. Obviously, it's not total in 12th grade because we didn't have it. Next slide. Go ahead, Dee. Thank you. All right, so these are the scores. You know, we're going to show you the progress that the students have made since last year. If you look at the top, these are the graduation ready scores and not graduation ready. It's a very simple calculation. If the students reach a 725, score of 725 on the exam, they are graduation ready. And if they don't, they're not graduation ready. Sometimes our kids miss about 1 or 2 questions. When you start looking at the scores, you break it down, you can really see where students are having some deficiencies, and you can address those, and they can take the test again in 12th grade. Very happy to say that we moved up 15 points since last year in ELA, 61.8% are graduation ready. In math, we also moved up 15 points. And now math is low, but progress is being made, 26.7%. And then they break down all results, they combine the results of ELA and math, and that's what you see. And that's repeated all the way to the far right. Next slide. Here you can see the comparison year to year. The graduation ready rate in 2023 was 46%. In 2024, 61.8. In math, it was 11.7, and in 2024, it is currently 26.7. And then the non-graduation rate, you want to see that number go down. So you see it started at 53.4, and it went down to 38.2, 88.3 in math, and it went down to 73.3. And then the bottom is all results combined. Next. Here's a kind of a visualization of the same information. Not graduation ready is in red, graduation ready is in green. So you can see not graduation ready. You can see how it went up from the numbers this year for not graduation ready in math, in ELA, in math, and the combined scores. It's just a visual representation of what I just said. Okay, next one. All right. Here's a comparison of the school spring 23 and 24 administration. Again, you can see ELA, again, graduation ready, 46, and then it compares to the state. So you can kind of get an idea where the state is in ELA in math in 2023, ELA in math in 2024. 61.8, the state is at 82.5, in math 26.7, and the state is at 55.6. All right, next slide. Okay, we can go on to the next one. This is the demographic. Now we break down the information a little further. Now we can look at how our Black and Hispanic students are doing, white, all students, both ELA and math. Okay, you can look, it starts to break down a little bit more. You can go to the next slide because there's a visual representation of that. Okay, so you can see Black students and Hispanic who are mostly represented in Asbury Park. How many are not graduation ready, and then how many are graduation ready by all subjects. So this is combining math and ELA. So that's why the numbers look a little off compared to when you saw the ELA scores and they were doing 68.7. Okay, because it's combining both. Go on to the next one. Okay. Black and Hispanic year to year. So you can see the increase from the previous year to the following year. Same thing with Hispanic students, very high, a very big change in our scores for our Hispanic students. Next slide. This is again subgrouped by gender. So you can see how the males and the females break down. Again, they show you the percentage from 23, 24. So when you see the column that says not graduation ready, you want to see that number go down. On the column that says graduation ready, you want to see that number go up. And as you can see in every category, in not graduation ready, the number went down. And in graduation ready, the number went up. In every category. Next one. Okay. Again, female to male comparison, not graduation ready. Again, all subjects being included. That's including math and language arts. Similar to the couple of slides ago. Next. And the same thing for year to year. So now this is a good comparison because you can see the improvement that students have made in high school. Females, 11% improvement, and our males, 18% improvement. Again, here, now this is a further breakdown by free reduced, that's what F&R stands for, free reduced lunch. Our L population, those are our Spanish and our Haitian speakers, our special ed population, and our general ed population. And this is all the scores of all subjects combined. So, as you can see, we're moving a lot of students in graduation rate. Wow. Next one. Same thing year over year. Again, you want to see that light blue should be less than the dark blue, and that's what you see. From 23 to 24, we've made improvements in every category, including our special ed population. Still got a long way to go, but we're trying to make progress. Go on. All right, that's it. That's what I had. That's the presentation. If you have any questions, I'm ready to take them. Mr. Saunders, good to see you, sir.
Hello. This is a very touchy subject for me, and I'm more aggressive than most people. And when we look at the comparison of readiness for graduation in math and reading, I believe, and I'm not a professional and I'm not a teacher, so I don't claim to be that. But how are we focusing in detail-wise on each of these students? Because we have to look at them individually, and we see them each and every day. If we're knowing that they're weak, how are we focusing in our after-school programs and communication with the parents? How are we getting that information, one, to the parents that their child needs this special attention, but how are we internally focusing on each of these individual students to bring them up? And right now, we're going to look at a transgression from kindergarten all the way up and us hitting that part, but we now have to put resources into making sure that these kids are effectively acknowledged. So can you explain that to us?
Yeah, so for us, what we're doing, particularly this year, is kind of looking at how we empower our principals to be the educational leaders that they are in their buildings. That's number one. Why? Because the buy-in is different. When the principals, when everything is top down, it doesn't work quite the same as if we're supporting the vision of the schools in their way of tackling some of these deficiencies. Number two, supervisors are going into our common planning times, working, and we're completely doing data-driven instruction. Everything is built around data, it's built around the standards. We're looking directly at how they did. We actually have this broken down. I think Mr. Nunez did a nice job, fine job last board meeting, going over all the tested items and looking at which are the ones that are actually tested versus what we teach. And sometimes we're focused on teaching things that the students are not tested on. That's a problem because we spend an inordinate amount of time on things that our students are not going to be, it's not going to affect them in a positive way when it comes to the graduation rate. So a lot of that data work is happening. We also have a data warehouse. I mean, we've talked about it 100 times, Lincoln, where now we're getting to the point now where we're looking at data across all, not just our state data, but comparison against our Lincoln, our iReady, our IXL data, all of it broken down by standards so we can see where our students are having deficiencies. One thing that's interesting about looking at this data, especially NJGPA, is that we're always told our kids can't read. To be honest, and I didn't have I have to look at the other slide, but the general ed population actually, outside of our L population and our special ed population, is reading at an 83% proficiency rate on the NJGPA. The reason that the score is 60% is because we include all populations in that number. But that says a lot. It says a lot about what we've always known, that our kids can read. Sometimes they get test anxiety. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of factors there that we're trying to tackle. And I think working with the principals this year and really talking to them about how we're going to celebrate testing and how we're going to make a big deal about it in a way that makes students excited about doing well, having those data conversations, those meetings with the students are going to be key to making sure that they know where they are. When parents come in for parent conferences, we're going to print out all of this data. We can create a data sheet from Lincoln that really breaks down everything the student is doing and where they are. It's all there. Nowadays, it's not difficult. Everything is a press of a button. It's very easy to get that information. So any parent, if you're interested in knowing where your kid is and what they're doing, just talk to us, talk to your principals. Let us know. We can print out a data sheet for you with all that information on it so you can see the progress your student is making on a day-to-day basis.
And the one thing I just want to say is I want to congratulate the students and the staff of the high school for it looks like probably over 2 years and the hard work they've done so that significant improvement has been made, and I can assume it's going to increase. So I just want to congratulate the students on a job well done and the staff and everybody that's been involved in the improvement in their graduation rate testing.
Thank you. Just so you know, thank you. Yes, really good. I didn't put it up, but we had to stick a sneak peek at 21-22. It was 9%, just so you know. And in 2 years, it went to 68. So that says a lot. That's right after the pandemic, obviously, so we had a lot of things to deal with then. But to come out of the pandemic, to make the progress we're making, I'm telling you, the teachers at the high school, the language arts teachers have been doing a tremendous job. They are so focused. And I can tell you just from talking and similarly to some people, they tell me, kids love their language arts teacher. I forget her name, please forgive me. They are very motivated for whatever reason. Sometimes you have the right person in the right place, it can make a big difference. So that's what I do. Huh? I believe so. I believe so. Is that right? Thank you. Mr. Medina confirmed. Sure. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day.
At this time, we're going to call up principals, starting with Thurgood Marshall for Staff and Student of the Month.
Who's going first? Sorry.
Let's start by opening on roll call and attendance.
Did you do the statement?
No, I didn't. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, New Jersey 10-6, PL 1975, C 231, amended to 2006, C 70, the Board of Education has provided adequate notice of this meeting by sending a notice of time, date, location, and the extent known. The agenda of the meeting has to the Asbury Park Press and the New Poster on January 8th, 2024 via email. Copies of this notice has been placed at the Administration Building, Bulletin Board, District Schools, Asbury Park Municipal Building, Asbury Park Public Police Department, and filed with the City Clerk on January 8th. Mission statement. Asbury Park School District will provide all students with the comprehensive progressive education where everyone possesses the skills and character to succeed in a diverse, evolving global society. Roll call.
Ms. Glassman? Here. Ms. Lucinski? Here. Dr. Maksud? Dr. Penna?
Here.
Ms. Ricks?
Here.
Mr. Rogers?
Here.
Mr. Grillo?
Here.
Mr. Saunders?
Here.
Thank you.
We have presentations now.
Good evening. My name is Mrs. Orbe, and I'm the principal of the Thurgood Marshall Elementary School, and I'm honored to present the student and staff of the month. First, I will start with the student of the month. I'd like to recognize second grade student Devon Whitfield. Come on, let's go. Dad, bring whole family. We celebrate everyone. It takes a village. I just wanted to read the nomination that Devon's teacher, Miss Bryant Miles too, wrote about him. I'm delighted to share that Devon has shown remarkable growth in just 1 month. His willingness to help his classmates, teachers, and his peers are truly remarkable. Devon puts in great effort every morning and arrives with a smile. It brings me great joy to have him in my class. He has reignited my passion for teaching. So, Devon, it's students like you that make the joy for me to come to work. So, congratulations. Thank you. I'm also proud to present to you Thurgood Marshall Elementary's Teacher of the Month. This teacher arrives every day with a smile, and she leaves every day with a smile. She volunteers for our committees. She even smiles when she's voluntold that she's going to be on the committee. She stays late regularly. Her classroom runs efficiently and effectively. When you walk into her classroom, it's such a well-oiled machine. The kids are happy, they're smiling. The kids love Mrs. Wright's works, and so do the parents. Mrs. Wright's works, congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Lauren Schultz, the proud principal of the Bradley Elementary School. And tonight I am delighted to introduce our wonderful student of the month. This month's selection is a young lady in 4th grade who has, in the first month and a half of school, been witnessed by not only myself, but several staff members performing several random acts of kindness when she does not know she is being seen doing them. She supports her ESL, MLL, and ELL student colleagues by offering translation support when and if needed without being asked. She has worked tremendously hard throughout September to have academic gains in reading and writing and loves ELA and is always dedicated to following the rules and doing well and is overall just a wonderful, wonderful example of the students we have here at Bradley Elementary. So joined tonight by her parents, please, Ms. Mila Pagan, to come up and accept her award. And we discussed today her favorite lunch, which we will be having tomorrow together. Mila, wonderful job, sweetheart. That was just wonderful.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Solari. Yep.
1, 2. One more.
Thank you. And now moving on to our staff member of the month. At Bradley Elementary, we nominate staff member of the month through the staff themselves. So nominations come into me each month, I read through them, and the staff member who typically receives the most votes with the most valued rationales is chosen by the colleagues and myself for the building. This month's staff member received an overwhelming amount of votes by her colleague. She is someone who has been quoted as being the most committed and passionate educator I have worked with, the most dedicated teacher we have here in Bradley, someone who is always willing to go above and beyond to give extra support, who has helped all staff this school year with delivering materials, providing sensory items to classrooms, and going out of her way to offer curriculum support, and someone that I have known for several years, but I've had the privilege of working closely with the last 2. So joined tonight by her husband, Under Sheriff of Monmouth County, Mr. Breckenridge, Mrs. Breckenridge. Please come up and accept the rightfully deserved Staff Member of the Month award. Thank you for all that you do for Bradley Elementary, for our students and staff. We appreciate you.
Good job, congratulations. We don't need that.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm okay. Mr. Mocker.
At first, we will introduce our student of the month first. At the middle school, we decided this time around to use Google Forms to send out to our staff members and try to see which students are doing their best, both academically, both socially, and including participating in after-school sports. And overwhelmingly, we had 2 students with our identical top that had the same amount of votes, lots of votes from lots of teachers. And we will first start with this first student. It's a student athlete. He's a student athlete. He plays soccer He has a smile that will light up the room. He walks to and from all through Asbury, going back and forth to school, as well as attending his soccer matches and games. And every time I see him, he just is full of energy. So at this time, we want to bring Julian, as well as here as well. Come on up. Both of these young men are soccer players. They carry themselves with dignity and respect around the school. You can always see them helping out their fellow classmates. They exchange positive conversations and affirmations with myself, the building principal, and they always, like I said, have a smile on their face. And what I'm excited about, not only are they students, but they are phenomenal athletes as well. So let's give it up for these two representatives from You guys got it. All right, we'll get one for them. Okay. All right, we'll get one more. We'll get one more. And tomorrow they will receive their gift certificates, courtesy of Sunshine Club tomorrow. All right. So thank you. Thank you very much. Next, same thing, but it was not a tie. We had a lot of staff members. What I love is staff members voted for other staff members. And they really went out of their way to not only just vote for them, but leave descriptions as to why they chose the staff member that they chose. In this case, we only have one clear winner this month. She is our phys ed teacher. She does a phenomenal job in terms of working with our students. Some of our students who exhibit sometimes not the nicest behaviors. She takes her time out. She works with them. She counsels them. Any of our young ladies in the building that need support, and if a counselor is not available, she will take her prep time. She will take her duty time and spend time with some of our youth counselors, talking to them, providing them with alternatives to support their behaviors. And what I most enjoy about this individual, she was a former wrestler in the state of New Jersey. And if you know my story, you know Coach Jabrino's story, we are all wrestlers as well. So it just does my heart that she runs a club, a phys ed club, during lunchtime, so that our students can come out after they eat lunch or before they eat lunch and engage in calisthenics and exercises and free play. And she does this on her own, not paid, not an extra duty. So at this time, let's give it up for Mrs. Christina Miller, a phenomenal educator and former wrestler in the state of New Jersey. That's enjoyed saying a little repeat there. And we will have your gift certificate tomorrow as well. So thanks so much.
All right, right here now. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Medina from high school, Dr. Medina. Harry Medina just earned his doctorate.
Appreciate that. So we are now a couple of students. First is going to be our student athlete, and matching the spirit of all the presentations. This young lady has been a phenomenal example, an athlete, a student, and role model. Miss Lisette Cruz Lopez. Can you please come up? She's our volleyball captain. Dad, come on, Dad, come on. She's our volleyball captain. She carries an A average and is a full-time athlete. I said she's a model student, and she's also the leader on her team in 2 statistical areas, digs and assists. We are extremely proud of this young lady and family. for supporting us in the shared partnership and really providing the best education for her and for her to be a role model to all of our students across the district. So to our athletes who just won something, this is what you can aspire to be. So congratulations once again, young lady. You have a lunch too, so we'll talk tomorrow about All right, and for our next student, who's also an athlete and star on her team, she plays soccer. She carries an A average. She is part of the National Honor Society. Excellent math student and team leader, Miss Leslie Montoya. Her coaches in our her coaches, her teachers, in the narrative expressing who they believe needed to be the student of the month, and I don't think they spoke with each other, literally said all the same things. She is a wonderful scholar, wonderful athlete, wonderful role model, and these two examples that we have as students are exactly what we need to aspire to be. So, as some of my colleagues have stated and suggested, you inspire us all, and I'm proud to be your principal. Thank you, young lady. Get lunch tomorrow. All right, we'll talk tomorrow. I'll see you. All right, and finally, but certainly not last, for our teacher of the month, science teacher who has taken on some extra courses for us and actually volunteered to do that. She's actually one of the few staff who came out to the retreat that we had in the summer, so we can break bread. Miss Melissa Loray, can you please come up? Miss Loray is a phenomenal teacher. Every time I go into her classroom, the students are engaged, and I don't know how to state that otherwise. From bell to bell, students are engaged. So when I hear Mr. Ruiz talk about NJ GPA and what is behind it, this is what's behind it. Teachers like Miss Loray, who make sure that students are engaged, they're receiving the instruction that they deserve and the instruction that they need. I'm truly impressed. You are an excellent educator. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, principals, and congratulations to the students and staff for the month. At this time, we have a presentation by our middle school band. So I'd like to call the students here.
I just want to say congratulations to all of the teachers and the leadership team as far as our community is concerned. And I want to say God bless the students.
Thank you so much for having us here tonight. We're super excited. This is just a very small section of our full band. A lot of them could not be here tonight due to sports activities and various other things that they have, but we're excited to play the Hey song for you. 2 different versions. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, action.
Give it up again for them.
Can you play an instrument?
Yes, you can. Thank you again, band. That's awesome. Ms. Peterson, you're doing a great job with those young men and women. I can't wait till the full band's here. It's going to be fantastic. There's a lot of things going on in the buildings, and I think it's important that we celebrate those accomplishments. That's why we're doing these presentations. I think it's important that the community and the board hear what's going on and actually see some things that are going on. So the next presentation we have Ms. Eva Ponce, Ms. Hope Walk, and Ms. Jackie Philhauer. Presentation on Teach Rock.
No microphone?
Yeah, there is.
I don't know. I speak loud. So.
I don't get into this. No, that one wasn't working.
Yes.
Mike's there. Should be up there.
Oh.
Is it? Just in case.
It's on. We don't have a...
Is it getting
We didn't know if it was gonna fall, so.
All right. Here we go. Good. I'm Jackie Philhauer. I'm Hope Walk. I'm Ponce. And we're here to talk about our program that we implemented last year at MLK Middle School, Teach Rock. Okay. Teach Rock aims to empower educators to use music as a tool to teach various subjects while promoting essential social emotional skills. So, we all ask, what is Harmony? It's a daily 20-minute student wellness program that creates community between our parents, teachers, and our community, promotes positive school culture, provides shared experience through music, all different genres of music, includes music discussion, journaling, and art projects. So wait for the rest of it. Jackie Philhauer? The next few slides are going to deep dive into the program at MLK Middle School last year, 23-24. And that poster you see behind me was created by the students at MLK Middle School. And I'm now presenting Eva Ponce onto her part.
Okay, so it took a village for us to get here, and I like to do a few shout outs because it took the many to make this into fruition for last year and into this year. So our board members, we'd like to thank you for your support and your vote to continue this program in our school systems. To Ms. Jessie Ricks for the introduction of the program, along with the Bruce Springsteen Foundation, Ms. Eileen Chapman, the extended donations to help facilitate this curriculum. I'd like to thank Wendy Glassman for all of your support. Mr. Ruiz for your guidance throughout this whole process. Lord knows it took a village between me having to pioneer this on my back between all the changes that we had. Dr. Perry Medina, thank you for your support in allowing us to just course correct when we were having issues with scheduling and we just made it happen. To Mr. Moncourt for this year jumping in full steam ahead with our teachers, making sure that it's done every single day. We appreciate your support on that. And for our team at Teach Rock, Gina Machado, Rhonda, Teresa Cox, our Julia, Bill Carbone, Rolando Alvaro, and the entire team that made this absolutely possible. With our unlimited support, we could not have the success of this program this year.
Okay, this is my part? Okay. We rehearse this a lot. The vision behind me is the schedule that we created, the skeleton to get this implemented. It took a lot of teamwork, a lot of professional development and modeling. So what you see is exactly what we went by. We kicked off Tuesday, December 5th, for the preview with the staff of Harmony and PLCs, the professional learning community. Then you see, as you go down the list from December 6th all the way down to January, the kickoff. A lot happened in between. So we did a lot of in-person training with the staff from Teach Rock, a lot of Zoom meetings to get everything on board. We created a little bit of pilot program to have a soft launch with selected few teachers during the WIN class. The WIN class is what I need, so we implemented in the first 20 minutes of that class. Then you'll see that the whole school had professional development, and we started to use what we do and we turned it to the staff. And we did grade level pep rallies, we played the music to get the kids pumped up, we wore our shirts, as you can see. And then we did our town hall meetings, right, with Dr. Medina. We did our town hall meetings to kick off all of the Teach Rock program to get the kids pumped up, and we played all the rock and roll music. Here's a calendar that we use for the staff that we created. If you see on the left-hand corner, there is a little link that the staff just had to click on that went right to the page where we use for the students' lessons. So you'll see on the APTV days, we did the 6th, 7th, 8th grade Teach Rock town hall meetings, and then we kicked off and we made a very firm schedule for the staff to follow so they stayed on pace of the lessons. Okay, this is Hope Walk's part. I'm going to let her take it away.
So Teach Rock, when we first started it, we were like, uh-oh, not another program. How are we going to implement this program with music in this WIN class? And I had no idea what it was all about. So thanks to, I'm going to say it again, to Dr. Medina, I'm saying that now, to Dr. Medina for allowing us to, like Ms. Philhauer said, to implement it into our WIN classes. We weren't sure how it was going to work. How were we going to fit it in? What was the time constraint on this? What type of lessons? Do I have to create another one? And as the reading specialist, I was panicking. What am I going to do with this whole 80 minutes of a WIN class? So we came up, like we said, with the schedule and the calendar with everyone from Teach Rock, how to implement this. At first, the kids walked in, we had this video playing, and it was music that they're not used to. Because I'm the country girl, I would play music, country music for them as they walked into my class. We had these songs on, and they looked at me like I had 4 heads. I didn't know what to do. I was panicking. Good thing the lesson plans were in place for us. There was the best part of this program. It was called a circle time. And there was something that would be called a talking stick. And you had to bring something in from home as the teacher. I brought in something from my aunt who passed from Mexico. It was the coolest doll. And you had to sit in a circle and discuss why I brought this in and why we were sitting in a circle. All right, so close your eyes, paint that mental picture of 7th graders who don't want to be there on the last period of the day, and they're looking at me like, why are we talking about our feelings or about another lesson at the end of the day? All right, ready? First week, 2 kids in a circle. Second week, maybe 3. By the 3rd, 4th week, I had the entire class minus 1, and I'm okay with that, in the circle. I have the goosebumps, you'll see the picture of the kids in the circle discussing the genre, the lesson that we're going to be doing in this WIN class for that week. The first week was like 3 days I had because it was the AB schedule. Okay, so you see these kids starting to open up, listening to different music, jazz, and then you have Bruce Springsteen in there. Yeah, they threw a little bit of my country, not much though. And the kids started to get engaged and starting to have discussions with each other. Okay, ready? That seems better. So after this open discussion happens, you leave the circle and you go to the journaling part. Ask Jackie. The journaling had made such a difference with these kids. And we talk about this all the time when Jackie was an instructional coach. We know the kids don't want to write. Can they write? Absolutely they can. Can they read? Right, Mr. Ruiz? Yes, our kids can read. It's just to get them to open up was the hardest part. All right, ready? So with the journaling, Jackie walks in and I'm like, Jackie, I can't get these kids to write. They don't want to show their feelings. They don't want to talk about anything. What do we do? Ready? Okay, in the curriculum, in the program, Teach Rock program, it is very student-generated. It's big on writing. That's a huge component. And we saw students, do the writing piece, which is super hard to get kids to write. But the music inspired not only us as teachers, but the students also. And we would see, when I would walk into the classrooms, you would see students just like, and like they were so in the moment, especially with the great video I have of Van Halen's, the one piece of Dreams that they were for Van Halen. The kids were just sitting there like, oh my gosh, these are 7th graders.
Yeah,
and the piece that is missing in this is so huge that special journals that we kept in a very, very safe spot for them. They knew that those were that's their special journal, and they're gonna do the writing. Let me tell you that the students were writing stories that were so amazing, and the poetry we would see was just mind-blowing. And the students actually shared it in circle time eventually because they felt safe, and it really was inspiring.
So Jackie and I,
So Jackie and I sat down, and I was like, you know what, Jack, as the reading person, what do I do on my end of it? Well, guess what we did? We came up with a solution. I started to journal. So I sat with them and I journaled. They saw, I modeled, okay, I know they're 7th and 8th grade, but we're still doing I do, we do, you, like the whole I do, we do. It worked. I journaled, they journaled, and they were so inspired that, like you said, in the discussion, in the circle, they started bringing their journals to our open discussion, to our circle. And with that talking stick, I just want to tell you real quickly before we go on, with the talking stick, if I'm talking, Jackie's not allowed to talk. Nobody is allowed to talk if you have that talking stick. And the manners and the way they carried themselves when they were talking, let's say if I was talking, because I talk a lot, if I was talking and another student went to interrupt me, the other students would say, no, wait for Miss Walk, let her finish her sentence. Like they actually got it. I wish you guys had seen more in the video because it was absolutely beautiful. Oh, here it is. Okay, you did have it here. Okay, this is one of the lessons. Go back to my hair. Go ahead, go ahead. Wait till you hear this. How this child, Sarai. Oh, you want to hear?
sorry. This was part of the lesson that they had given us with Teach Rock. It was like, what's in your name? So when the kids walked in, you would hear this song by Destiny's Child, Say My Name.
Say my name, say my name. No one is around you. Say, baby, I love you. You wanna get say my name. You acting out.
Okay, so that lesson turned into.
We modeled this actually as staff development for Teach Rock. I'm going to go with this real quick, and it was awesome because we were able to team build through this. Everybody learned that my middle name is, I'm called Jackie Sue. So if Mr. Schreier was still here, he would laugh right now because it's to this day he calls me Jackie Sue because of this lesson. The student Sarai actually did this amazing little lesson about her name after she listened to the song, and she spelled out the letters of her name, and she actually has a whole historical. Her parents named her by each letter, and she was able to articulate well about why the C, what the C means, the A, R, and then you'll see to the left and the right the students talking about and writing about their name. And they were so inspired by the music, and also how the staff did too, that they won the title. They killed it. We posted their little name plates everywhere around the hallway.
Yeah, so anyone who taught Lynn, the art projects were either in the hallway or they were in the classroom. And they were just, they were displayed everywhere.
So in these upcoming pictures, you can see Stevie, because you know we're friends now.
Oh, yeah, we're big friends.
Mr. Van Zandt to everyone else, but Stevie to us. He actually honored us with a visit to our school, and our staff members got to meet with him. We had a round table with our staff members, which was really exciting because they gave him a lot of input on the program that he actually revised and implemented for this year's curriculum. So as you can see there, he met with our students. He actually went into classrooms that were having the lessons being taught in real time, stepped in, sat in circles with the students, and the students were so engrossed in really asking him questions and really excited to see him. As you can see, he was interacting in a circle here with our students in this class as well.
This was cool. This is Miles' class on the left. And the kids didn't want to sit in a seat, so they sat on the desk. And it worked for them.
Right, you see one of the students with the stick.
Oh, yeah, you can kind of see it, everyone. It's a talking stick. All right, so this was part of my class. Sorry.
And these two students actually got interviewed by the Asbury Park press, which was really interesting. It was really cool. And we had pictures with our administrators and our board members. That was a good time. We were actually featured in articles and in social media through the Teen Talk Association and the Asbury Park Press.
Oh, should I say my part real quick? Okay, real quick. So I had no idea. I get a phone call that my aunt called me from Florida. She goes, Mama, I have something to tell you. She goes, you're famous. I'm like, what are you talking about? Famous. I'm in this documentary. So I am famous. I am in Stevie Van Zandt's documentary. Cupcakes and they're like, all that, Asbury Park press. So they're like, oh, wow.
Okay, so shortly after we had the visit with Stevie, I get an email from Gina, and she's like, so we'd like to honor you guys in August for a Trailblazer Award. And we were like, excuse us? Like an award? I'm like, what do you mean a Trailblazer Award? She goes, we want to honor you for all the hard work that you did to not only pioneer to bring this into Asbury Park, but to also make it a success for the community, students, and staff. So in August, we had the privilege to be on stage with Stevie and get these amazing Trailblazer Awards, which was absolutely phenomenal.
They are legit.
It was amazing. They treated us really well. We felt very honored.
And we got autographed books by the police
Yes.
sister, who's the photographer. It was autographed. I got different pictures of Bruce, Stevie,
Brian Williams, Bruce Hands.
They are the very first recipients of this award. It's not nothing.
Round out quick. Yes.
Okay, so what's coming up next for this year? As I said, MLK is running with it full force ahead. In September, we had our first PD with our staff members from Teach Rock. As you can see, our staff members were engaging in an activity there. Absolutely great PD that they had, and immediately Mr. Moncourt was on site, first day, in the homeroom, absolutely no exceptions. I love the energy that he's bringing into this program, and it's just going to take off where we left it with Dr. Medina. It's absolutely amazing. These are the kids interacting in lessons that they've been doing since September, and they're really enjoying, they're engaging, they're loving the art part of it as much as they're enjoying the journal part. And the journals were donated by Teach Rock Foundation for our students with pencils, art supplies. They treated us like absolutely gold with this program. And I am also excited to say that I was able to bargain to bring in a U.S. history elective pilot program to our high school. They are currently going through the program right now. The first 3 lessons is being taught by Ms. Albert, which is our music teacher at the high school. So we are breaking ground by actually having a music teacher facilitate this program at a high school level for an actual history class. They are doing well. They are loving and receiving the information. They are astonished, blown away by the combination of not only learning about music, but how is that related to what U.S. history is being taught. And they're doing really well, and we're excited to see if the pilot program kicks off, we might be able to bring it into the district for 25, 26. Yes. excited.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first and only picture we were allowed to take, because it was literally no phones, no cameras, and we would just like to thank Stevie, because without his passionate humanitarian that he is to be dedicated to his mission to reignite academics through the voice of music, this program wouldn't be here and our kids wouldn't be thriving.
Nope.
I'm going to take it over, but I just want to say a special thank you to our acting superintendent, Mark Trevino, because you have let us go with this program and bring it into this sphere, and we are honored, and we thank you very much for doing that.
I was asked to just talk about real quick a little bit of news about TMS early childhood. We did our kickoff of play date event Saturday, and it was so much fun. The parents were exchanging numbers, and that's what was the whole purpose. We really wanted the parents to communicate, the kids have fun, and it's just a beautiful day. We had coffee for the parents, munchkins for the kids, and everybody was playing and running around, and the parents had a great time. Just to let you know, it is every Saturday, but on the 26th, we're doing our first trunk or treats. We want everybody there. We're having all the staff park in the back, and they're very, 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 very excited about this. So please show up at 12 o'clock after the play date for our trunk or treat. Here are some of the kids at the pop-up play date. It's super fun. We had a group picture, and we had a little Greg Reiner from the Asbury Park Police Department come and surprise us. This is some weekly highlights that you'll see for our superheroes weekly newsletter. And on the left, we have been celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and we Skyped in from a class in Dominican Republic. And Miss Gabby Garcia used to teach in Asbury, and she connected us with her students in one of the preschool classrooms the other day, and it was so beautiful. The kids talking to each other and exchanging, talking about how hot it was in the Dominican Republic, and it was really chilly the day that we were talking to the kids. And we are having parent workshops. Today was Christian Bellissimo. He is working with our staff and students, and he did his first awesome parent workshop with our parents this morning, which is awesome. It was a huge hit. And he talked about limit setting with the parents. We had about 26 parents there, and the turnout was awesome. They want us to do it again. Christian to do it again, and it'll be on, actually, the next event he will be talking with the parents at night is our first annual Harvest Fest on November 14th. Yes, November 14th with Christian. But we also had toiletry our Jocelyn Crawford. That was a huge hit on Tuesday. So we just wanted to share some highlights from Thurgood Marshall Elementary School, but thank you for everything you're all doing. Thank you. We're done. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and Ms. Corbolino, special ed? Dr. Corbolino, that is, sorry. What's that? Well, kind of skip through. Dr. Medina then?
Yes,
Okay.
that's just the order.
All right.
We're going to change the agenda a little bit around. We're going to do public participation initially, and then we'll go to report to community chairs. In accordance with the board policy 0167, the Asbury Park Board of Education recognizes the value of public commitment on education issues and other matters of importance, and provides members of the public with the opportunity to express themselves on school matters of community interest. The public comment portion of the meeting is not a question and answer session, and all public comments shall be directed to the board president or presiding officers of the meeting. Members of the public who wish to make public comments must be recognized by presiding officers and provide his or her name, a municipality of residence, and group affiliations if applicable. All public comments shall be directed to the presiding officer and are limited to 3 minutes in duration. Members of the public who do not follow foregoing rules or interfere with the orderly operation of the board meeting may be removed from the meeting. Public participation.
Hi, my name is Deborah Lorenz, and I feel like I'm a broken record. I would have been here last month in September, but my school's back to school night was on the same night as the board meeting. So I was unable to come to say the words life skills room, which is still incomplete. We are the second month of school, and it is almost there, according to my son, but not quite. So I'm here to continue to push life skills room. It is not done. They do not have pots and pans. They have not used the stove. They have made bagels, but they have no toaster. So there are lots of things that are still incomplete in the life skills room. I want them cooking, baking, learning how to do things. They are not doing these things as of yet, and it is the second month of school. There's something else I also want to talk about. I went to back to school night, and it's implied that my son will be graduated at age 18, as if it was unknown to the social workers in the district that my son is entitled to a free and public school education until he is 21, because that is when DDD will pick him up. They will not pick him up before he is 21. So I want to make sure on public record that everyone who has an IEP, if your child has an IEP, please read the fake book that you were given at your child's IEP that states that they are entitled to stay in public school district until they are 21, whether the school district has a program in place or not. They need to get a program in place. My son is only going to be 15 this year, so you've got a few years to get something in place. So please, I'm asking you, I'm imploring you to please set something up, because my son's age range seems to be the age range where there was an explosion of special ed kids. I don't know why in our district it seems that right around his age range there are classes upon classes of kids with special ed. Prior to him there were not, but there are now. And behind him there are many, many more coming. And those parents might be as educated as me and might know that their kids deserve to stay in the public school until 21, and that there will not be programs for them between the ages of 18 and 21. There will be nothing for them until age 22. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go, pal. We out.
Good night, everybody. Good evening, my name is Tina Solomon. I reside in Lebanon, Bangs, and I'm considered the district-wide PTO coordinator. Ladies, I did G-Drop, great idea, but can we actually include Ms. Peterson for the middle school? Sorry, Ms. Peterson, I didn't know what she was about. But because she is great with our kids in the music department, and they would probably drag you guys in her class. So, but great, I'm glad our kids are actually doing something that they feel passionate about, and that's something that they really want to do. But my comment is going to be for our board. President Saunders, I have an issue when I'm being told, and I hear throughout the district, that we are no longer able to pay resource officers to be in our district. That is very alarming to me because of the area that I live in. I see all the fights. The kids will leave the high school and fight in front of the middle school or fight on my corner, and the cops come swarming through, and they can't figure out if they're middle school kids or high school kids. So they're out there all the time. And for us not to be able to have resource officers in our district, I think that's gonna be a big problem moving forward for the rest of the school year. And I have been very nice, and I've actually sent grant information to the school district, that there is a grant that would pay the police department to come and work with the school district that you guys don't have to pay for. So I suggest, if we don't have a grant writer, let's find somebody and get somebody who are actually writing some of these grants that will cover the district of not having to pay, but it'll actually bring those grants to this district and it'll take care of a lot of the police officers' salaries that we actually need in this district. And if you need any more info, I don't have a problem sending it to every last one of you guys, because I've sent it out for the last 6 months. Anything that I get that's in regards to offering grants for our school district, I'm going to send it in. So I will keep sending them. Please find me a grant writer that can write these grants to get that funding into our district. Thank you.
Hi. How are you? Just wanted to, I've been here several times over the past few years.
Your name and address, ma'am?
What do you want me to do?
Name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Linda Lupino, 1115 2nd Avenue. And I live right here by the soccer field, so I've been here several times. And had a lot of damage that's done to the house, but I'm really here to say thank you, because you guys actually did what you said you were going to do for the first time in a long time. Somebody was really listening, and the kids are having a good time, and I feel much better about it. So I wanted to say thank you. Most times I come and complain, I go to the only proper, I say, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Ms. Phillips. Felicia Simmons, 11 Asbury Park. I am here just to continue to say, I'm gonna just attest what I've seen. I can take it one way, but I'm gonna take it to the fact that our children are absolutely geniuses. They are absolutely extraordinary people and children. And any time that they're actually pushed, they actually show and prove. Saying that to say, we need more rigor, we need fuller classrooms with curriculum, we need programs that are set down and geared towards having future global students. Not just coming through school, but actually getting through school with the best tools possible. These opportunities are here now. Speaking earlier, we have been partners union that's waiting for an enablement program that goes right into high school that can graduate them right into a purchase program that is paid. Right? We have the wind energy coming 42 miles, scheduled to come 42 miles off the shore, and intensive energy waiting to embrace them in through the relationship with the partners union and also with the electrical union. But this is a conversation I had with the head of the electrical union just the other day. We need them ready with math. We need them geared for the future. We need to be able to sit down and give this to them. And how do we give it to them when we don't have the tools in the classroom? I'm just going to say that high school is the same way it did 20 years ago when I went to school. Right? And we're going to talk about how we have to actually gear things with books and technology. We have enough funds that this is a white tablecloth, a white hand glove district, but it is not. And we actually really have to give it to our kids. We have to gear up for what is coming. When people talk about consolidation, right? The person that pushed the S2 is also pushing consolidation, right? So some people might be like, our taxes are high, close to schools, but no, absolutely not. Right? Because when you send the kids off to other districts, you have absolutely no say. You have absolutely no say in how they're raised, what they're given, and what they're not given. Right? You have the opportunity to gear a program specially designed for them. For that young man that was sitting right here. When we hired Dr. Rappelette in his district, right, part of rep, I went on a tour there. he had a life skills class that did laundry and cooked and did dinner, blankets and all the skills, teach them how to shop and do all kinds of things. Right? We had back then, 2016, right? We brought in a green energy, right, program that we pushed through. And if we had that today, we'll have kids ready to go out to those wind turbines. They're going to run a cord right down the shore. Right? There's a company at Rowan University that has progressive, beautiful Star Trek-like things happening with children. They have a business called U.S. Offshore Wind that is designing drones right now to go underwater.
Sorry, Ms. Simmons, your time is up.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Sheila Brazil, 1200 Jefferson Asbury Park, New Jersey. Hello, everybody. Couple things. Nice presentation about the school, the rock things. I hope y'all, well, think about Ms. Smith. I hope y'all took the students out and thank them. I said, y'all got y'all award because we out there, y'all would got that award. So, pay it forward. So, I mean, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I ain't doing it. And, sorry, Mr. Saunders, I don't know addressing you. And, about the programs, that we had before, when, Reverend was here, if I remember, he might have brought some of this stuff in, but it's the board members, some of the board that was there for his board, or the other board, they took a lot of that stuff away. So you can't really blame, I guess, the board in there, but you can encourage them to see they will bring it back and try to get some funds from, talk to somebody outside, collaborate with, there's a whole bunch of people out there you can talk to. It starts at home. I know you want the life skills, you got to start them at home, and then if they need something in high school, volunteer to buy a toaster, or volunteer to buy some, whatever they might need. I'll volunteer to donate something to it, no problem. But you have to, it takes a triangle. So everybody, community, the staff, the parents, the student, administrators, you have to work together. So you just can't expect something from somebody else you're not willing to give. So it works hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? So if we all start to work together as a team, have each other's back, then we can move this district. Have a good night.
Is there anyone else?
Good evening, my name is Beverly Clay, resident here in Asbury Park. I'm here representing the parent body for the Asbury Park Youth Football Program. It was disturbing. They had a rough season this year, but excuse me. Their record right now is 5-2, which we're proud of them. Hand claps to the three. This year, this season, we want answers as to why the football program was not able to utilize the Asbury Park High School field for any home games. All of our games were in other people's district in their home fields. So we want an answer to why. We also want an answer to why we have to pay $250 to practice there each day. Why? They wear Asbury Park bishops advertising for us where they live at. Why couldn't they practice? We were locked out of the middle school field. That was the only way we got over to the high school field to practice 3 weeks ago. The season started July 22nd. Not fair. These are children that, as a village, we come together. We have to get sponsorship and donations for this program to stay afloat. 5 teams this year, roughly a little bit over 100 children. Parents pay registration fees. We still did not get the benefit of new uniforms. Understanding helmets cost up to $300 and can be utilized more than 1 year. But in comparison to other towns, we look terrible. So I would like a one-on-one meeting with whomever is in charge, whoever can give the okay for next year. This season, it's done. But next year, we need more support. We demand it.
The one comment that I do, I'm very in support of the youth football team, but from what I understand, they never filled out their use of facilities form until last week, and that's part of the issue.
Moving forward, we have to come together and have a plan of correction.
Okay, and the thing about it is,
We don't want Alicia Floyd. She's always had a charge on her back, and it's not up to her to make the final decision. That wasn't fair to her. It's not fair to her. So whoever is responsible to make the final decision, let's have a conversation.
I would,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, we can have a conversation, because I'm solely in support of the youth football team, because my house is just like 2 doors down from where they practice.
So you understand?
Oh yeah, those are our kids.
Let's get the ball rolling.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Phillips, and I don't even live in Asbury. I live in Acton, actually. But I just think that it's funny that football came up. Next month is Thanksgiving, and the traditional Thanksgiving game against Neptune versus Asbury that has been going on for decades and decades and decades has just been stopped cold turkeys. That's not fair to the community. It's obviously that y'all don't care about football. The babies, not only the babies have to suffer, and they can't even have a home game, but we as a community can't even celebrate with one another at a football game, Asbury versus Neptune. Now, one person has the decency to even explain to the families what was the rationale for that. Are there no police that's willing to patrol the area? Are there no staff? Like, what is the reason? Y'all need to take a vote. Y'all need to care about the feelings of the community. Families come together on Thanksgiving. That's the one thing that we look forward to, in addition to spending time with our family, is that we start off our Thanksgiving. I don't know about y'all, but in Asbury Park and Neptune, we start our Thanksgiving off at the game on Thanksgiving Day. That's not fair to us, and somebody somewhere needs to get off their happy whatever and change it back to Thanksgiving, because that's what the community wants, and that's what the community demands, and that's what the community deserves. Next.
Is there anyone else? At this point, we're going to close the public portion of the meeting, and we're going to go into the presentation by Robert Wood Johnson. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I know you're probably thinking, who is this lady and what is she holding between me and dinner, but I promise I'll keep it quick. My name is Nicole D'Ambrosio. I am here on behalf of Robert Wood Johnson Behavioral Health Institute for Prevention and Recovery, and I just wanted to share a little bit about a program and an initiative that we're looking to bring to our Asbury Park youth, and that program is called Communities That Care. And Communities That Care is a community-based coalition building process where we build a community board of members from all different sectors in the community to come together to try and identify some of the challenges that our youth are facing for Asbury Park specifically. And the way that we do that is we are grant funded by the state to do this program. We are actually the only organization in New Jersey that is able to execute this program. And if we bring this part transfer to Asbury Park, we will be the first community in Monmouth County to have this program. Right now, we are in Toms River and Barnegat, and also the South Ward of Newark. So the grant allows us to go into our schools. For Asbury Park, we will be surveying 8, 10, and 12 graders. And that survey allows us to identify the challenges that the youth are facing and report from their perspective alone, which is really amazing because we as adults can really kind of speak to what we think we're seeing and the trends that we're seeing, but this allows us to get the perspective of them. The data is taken completely anonymously and it's analyzed by percentages to help to mitigate any concerns about that data collection. But from there, we are able to take that data and implement evidence-based programming that supports the risk factors that we identify in the community. And these risk factors are really all-encompassing and really dependent on what comes back from our kids. So we have seen things in our CTCs like issues with family connection. We've seen a really big increase in mental health as a possible risk factor. It actually was the identified risk factor for all of our CTCs this year in this cycle. We've seen risk factors of substance use, risk factors of bullying, and we look to combat one at a time, but not one and done. So the goal is to try and pick one and implement evidence-based programming that we can use to help uplift the community, help address that risk factor, and help build protective factors into the community that uplift that youth. So in terms of evidence-based programming, we do that. And then on the flip side, in terms of non-data related instances, we have a youth involvement work group that works to find trends in the community that we're identifying that the youth would potentially need some pro-social involvement or help in interacting and things like that. So we implement what's called social development strategies. And these are things that are all-encompassing of the community and can really be absolutely anything. So our youth involvement work group met and we already started establishing ideas of cooking classes, ideas of having people with lived experience with substance use come and speak to the youth. We've identified yoga, art classes. Our other CTCs have done things like archery and hiking, and the possibilities are really endless. So we really look to build a community around our youth, help implement protective factors that create opportunity, create skill, create mentoring and bonding, and really help to uplift that community. And the goal of Communities That Care, or what we like to call CTC, is building that community together, banning all of our resources that we have, both town and county-wide, and help protect the youth, help uplift them, create positive atmospheres, positive interactions. And the goal is that every couple of years, we take a look at that data, we find a new risk factor that we want to address. We continue to address the risk factor that we did in the previous cycle, but look to build on something else. And the goal is to really hear the students out, listen to their voice, and then through our grant, be able to give back to you guys in any way that we can through both positive pro-social activity, protective factors, and evidence-based programming. I wanted to keep it short because I know that everybody's been here a while, but if you have any questions, the board, you guys, I'm happy to answer them. But that is the program that we're looking to bring here. We've already kind of started the process. We're actually hosting a logo contest at the Boys and Girls Club in November for our CTC to get the youth involved and help them design it. So the balls are definitely starting to roll. We're definitely really excited. But that is the essence of our CTC program. So if anybody has any questions, feel free. Well, thank you everybody for listening.
Okay, we'll move forward to report from committee chairs. Building and Ground, Mr. Carrillo?
Yep. Okay. So there's a couple of things that we spoke about, buildings and grounds. And now we're out to wait.
Oh, shit.
And take your phone, please.
Yeah, but once you have a fire huh? No, I just want to make sure everybody's on board. Because you know, I would like. What are you saying? I said I want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting and let the state monitor just approve the.
State monitor approve what needs to be done.
Yes. Yes. So like, this is crazy. You good with that?
All right.
Okay. I would like to.
He's good with that.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting due to the fire alarm situation.
I'll second that motion.
Questions, discussion?
Based on, the motion's based that the state monitor will approve all necessary items on the agenda, and then whatever we have to carry over to next month will be done so.
Excuse me?
Or Kenneth made a motion to adjourn the meeting because of the fire alarm issue, and the state monitor will approve any items that need to be approved on the agenda, and anything that doesn't can be carried over till next month. I can't hear anything. Keep going off.
It went off twice.
There's a motion and a second.
Motion on the floor.
There's a motion and a second.
Do a roll call. Roll call, Ms. Ivy.
Well, can we have a discussion first about this? She's on the phone, but can we have a discussion?
Oh yeah, we can have a discussion. That's why I just wanted to make sure it was clear with everyone. I mean,
Do it again.
Yeah, let's just. They have to retest it, and then it'll be fine?
But we don't know how long it's gonna take, but we're gonna hear it go off.
Okay, so it'll go off one more time, and then we can proceed with the meeting.
Okay, but so what?
Well, we still have a motion and a second, so we have to at least get through that.
All right.
So, there's a motion on the floor to adjourn.
Would you please repeat the motion?
The motion to adjourn was made with the state monitor taking whatever actions are necessary in order to have the continuity of the district in between the meetings, and any items that, the understanding that any items that haven't been addressed this evening that can't be addressed by the state monitor would be addressed by the board at the next meeting. That was the motion. So I guess roll call.
Ms. Glassman?
you good with that, right?
No, not really.
You have both.
Ms. Lisinski?
Yes.
Dr. Maksud?
No.
Dr. Penna?
No.
Ms. Riggs?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Rogers? No. To what?
Adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
We don't need to read the meeting. We have a fire.
So is that a yes or no?
No.
Mr. Grillo?
No.
Mr. Saunders?
Yes.
Hey, we're still here, so it's all right, move along.
All right, we were at Buildings and Grounds. So, okay, a couple of things. Building updates, district-wide badge access points. MLK, the third floor is getting badge access points on the doors in the first building. Thurgood, working on ensuring the preschool classrooms are up to code, waiting on cabinets and repairs to the elevator from water damage. At Bradley School, the netting at the soccer field is now almost 100% complete. The district cost was $71,000. Contractors will be in district for our larger projects. Now, there is an update on appraisals on one of the three buildings that we had identified. We authorized Mr. Gerbino to go for. We received one for the ITC building. Are we able to speak about that?
I don't know what you're gonna say. honestly.
What the appraisal was?
No, don't.
Okay,
No.
okay, no worries.
As a board member, will I see the appraisal? Am I privy to it?
Yes, without a doubt. You couldn't.
Okay, well, they're saying they can't talk about it.
We was gonna talk.
Well, then my advice doesn't work. My advice to the board is this: to the extent that the board received an appraisal or had an appraisal done, board members are certainly entitled to see the full appraisal, including the appraised amount. However, since that may be subject to a sale and a subsequent negotiation on the sale of a property, my strong recommendation would be that the appraisal report and the appraisal numbers and any things, findings in the appraisal not be made public, because it could impact the board's negotiating position to the extent that the board ever wants to move forward with the sale.
My second question is, and you might address this, is how many buildings are we talking about? I know at one point we were talking about appraisal of all the buildings. So I want to hear it as part of the record.
If that question was directed to me, Ms. Ricks, I know nothing about any of this. I have not seen an appraisal. I have not been involved in an appraisal. I don't do appraisals.
I'm not necessarily asking you, I'm going to address this to our board president or our board vice president, because at the last meeting, I think somebody made a motion that all of our buildings be appraised. And I just want to be clear as to which buildings are we talking about? Are we talking about all of them?
Okay.
Or a few of them?
There's only 3 buildings being appraised, not all of them. I mean, I think at the last meeting, it was the appraisal for those 3 buildings, not every building in the district. Just 3.
Okay, if I understand clearly, it's the Dorothy L. McNish Parent Center, the maintenance building, and what was the
ITC building.
ITC? Okay.
And apparently those quotes came in yesterday. I saw an email, but I don't have them with me. I haven't looked at them fully at all. But there's only 2. Only one came in for McNish and one for ITC, but the maintenance building, there's nothing yet.
And the resolution also added that for the ITC, there was going to be an estimate on how much it would cost to move all that equipment into or somewhere in the district.
Any other questions, comments, discussions?
And then we have facilities use. AYF would like to use the stadium on 10/13 for a game in order to raise funds. They reached out to our buildings and grounds supervisor, and he advised that it had to be board approved. So 10/13, okay. So those are the, and then we had a meeting with the Shade Tree Commission, and they're donating 2 trees to the Thurgood Marshall Elementary School. And that concludes my report.
It's my understanding that, from our superintendent that, AYF, they didn't fill out their, can you just elaborate on that, please?
So AYF never filled out the proper paperwork for use of facilities, nor did they provide insurance to use the field, and they didn't want to pay us to use the facilities. I can tell you that when they were using the facilities without the paperwork, my custodians were out there at 5:30 in the morning, because I'd get there around 5:30, 6 o'clock, cleaning up the middle school field of bottles and garbage. So it's like overtime for them to do that. So, yeah, they need to follow the protocol.
I had one question, if I can regress to buildings and grounds. I see on our agenda, the addenda for the business office that we have an approval for the netting that's already up at the soccer field for $55,000. Was that the board? I don't remember the board ever approving going out for a net for that amount of money, and was that bid or?
They're
how
with the
was that?
co-op.
I'm
They're on
sorry?
a co-op.
It was in a co-op?
Mm-hmm, and on the Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting, that was an estimate, so the actual amount is on the addenda.
So there was an estimate from where?
No, from the committee minutes, I put, I think, 71,000, that's an estimate, but the actual cost is in the addenda. And they're with ECNJ, it's the co-op.
Okay, it was a co-op purchase?
Yes. So we don't have to go out to bid.
Was that discussion ever on agenda for the board meeting? I don't remember it.
I think it was in the committee meeting.
Yeah, but committees can't make decisions for the Board of Education.
That was the discussion where I know.
Well, I know we discussed netting, but I don't remember ever approving purchasing the net. That was my concern. Not that it's not a good idea, we all agreed that it needed to be put up, but I don't remember that.
Can we double check?
It's already up.
The actual cost ended up being what?
Okay, so what happened, I understand there was a meeting with the superintendent, the facilities manager about netting at the Bradley School. The parent here was thinking about it. What happened was that everybody jumped the gun and just went through the process of doing the netting when it wasn't yet approved by the board. I found out about this yesterday. Actually Tuesday, and I told them to walk on to the meeting today because I wanted the Board of Education to approve it. So this is the first time it's being discussed by the full board.
Any other questions as far as buildings and grounds?
Yes. As far as the AYL, could we possibly be clear with the team as to what we expect from them, our part and their part, because these are our kids.
Exactly.
So we need to work to make sure that we are servicing our children.
When I spoke with the superintendent, he said he did. Okay, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so AYF changed hands on who was running AYF. The previous people running AYF, we never had a problem with paperwork being filled out. This year, there are new people, and I'm not going to get into everything, but the paperwork, they knew the paperwork had to be filled out, and it wasn't. I'm just going to leave it at that right now. So, and I talked to the previous people that ran it. I asked them what's going on, and that's how I found out today that there was a change of hands.
Is there any way we could have a contact person? I know we have a contact person, just like reach out to them just to make sure that everything is good. You know what I mean? You know, and then that way it serves the community and it serves the school district.
I know Mr. Sosa. Mr. Sosa has reached out and has spoken to the individual with this, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong?
Yes, and they still were allowed to practice. You know, we never stopped them from practicing. I think once they were told that they couldn't, they didn't practice for like that 1 week. They called my office directly, Ms. Brown, what can I do? What can we do? I said, well, I'll charge you what we charged you last year, which was the $1,000. And within a couple of days, they came up with that $1,000. So as far as them using the stadium, we never received any paperwork on that, so that game did not happen. So technically, we didn't stop them from using the field. We just want them to at least pay. You know what I mean? And insurance, that's the most important part, the insurance part.
But that leaves us liability.
Yes, and
then liable to whatever happens.
Yes. So on the week after the school board's convention, we are going to meet with them, with the new president, Ms. Summerlin is volunteered to come, Mr. Jabino, myself, and Supervisor of Buildings and Grounds.
I really appreciate that, because I think we should do whatever we can to service our children. Sometimes things change hand, and we have to walk folks through the process. If that's what we have to do to service our community, our kids, that's what we have to do. So, thank you for that.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, my house is just, oh, sorry. My house is two houses away from that field, and I had never seen them not practice in that every day.
You're there every day. But
Yeah.
you're not there on the football.
And I didn't even know about, because I've been in, yeah.
But as I understand this, it's still going to have to come in front of the board for a vote, right? Because they're asking for fees to be waived, and we have not waived any fees for any of the local organizations. So it would require making an exception to do that.
I'd rather deal with people who get cut open.
Second class where?
There's only one class one, that's the city.
They were under the second with the Little League, but this board decided to eliminate that from one of the agendas this year. You eliminated the AYF from that class. And they were always on that class, and we had an agreement that they would pay $1,000, and Little League would also, to use the field and their practices, and they put a schedule in. But that was taken off by this board, their class this year.
Right, but it doesn't move them to class one,
No, the second class.
which requires payment.
They're waiving, if they pay $1,000 fee for using the facilities, that was the agreement we had. Then, and also, that prior to this past new year, that's the agreement we always had.
But that's not the current policy, is that correct?
I don't know what, this board took it, I don't know. I don't have anything to do with what's going on.
We voted on this. We voted on this in July, as I recall, right? Or it was in June.
I said it.
And it was on the agenda, and we all got to vote on it. There was nothing that was kept secret or hidden. I didn't even know about it until I saw it on the agenda, and we all voted the way we wanted to. And I think the majority voted to change, there was group one, which was the city and the school, and then there was group two, which was Little League and I believe AYF, where they would get some of the fees waived, and then there was everyone else, right?
Well, we wouldn't waive anything.
I think we're not waiving anybody.
Right.
Everybody's getting charged.
My recollection, though, is that nobody has insurance waived.
That's correct.
Right.
I think my recollection was no insurance waiver, and there was also no custodial maintenance waiver.
I would agree with that.
All right, policy committee.
The policy committee met on October 10th at 6 p.m. We had the first reading revision to policy for Bradley Elementary School, Title I, School Parent and Family Engagement. We also spoke briefly about last month, not this last meeting, but we had talked about the Director of Student Services removal and name and replace with titles, education of homeless children and youths, and reporting potentially missing and abused children. Also, Strauss Esme will advise us on policy 5600 Code of Conduct that needs to be approved again for the first reading since the table was changed. And in my report.
Thanks.
I had a comment. The disciplinary policy isn't on the agenda, just so you know. The second thing I had, I know that putting the title of the person in charge but I'm not sure why it says acting director of student services. If you just put student services, if somebody is in that position acting, I would imagine it's known that that person is taking charge of that policy. So I would suggest not put acting. I know we have an acting and a director, but just put director.
You can't put a director because there's already someone on leave in that position, so it's gotta be acting.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I think Ms. Lisinski's talking about the policy language, if I'm not mistaken. And the idea being that you would put the actual title in the policy, because if there is someone in an acting capacity, it's understood that that person who's in the acting capacity is filling the job, role, scope, and function of the permanent person when he or she returns or is appointed. So I do agree with Ms. Lisinski that the policy should say the regular title as opposed to an acting prefix.
I don't know.
So if we could, if it's understood that that's the change to that item, number B38, the two A and B.
What page is that on?
It's B3, number 8, A and B.
Ms. Lisinski, Mr. Shafter just showed me the policy, and
Yeah, we don't have
the
acting.
one that he's looking at does not say the word acting.
Yeah, we didn't put acting.
Oh, you didn't put acting?
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it says director.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you. I knew that it was at the beginning of that. So I just wanted to
Any other questions, comments as far as policy?
So I was just saying that we didn't get it's not, your discipline code isn't on the agenda. That's what I'm saying. That's the other item I mentioned.
That was the second reading?
It's a second reading, and it wasn't on the agenda, and the information wasn't given out to the board again. Yeah, but you haven't changed.
We didn't change it. All she did was
But there's no way to make a comment on the chart if you don't have a second reading. Like you can't, in between one meeting and the next, there's a significant change in that policy because the first reading didn't have anything. So actually, it's not a first reading without the chart filled in. You changed the chart. So the first reading was last, all right. It was an information, you put a whole chart in the policy because it was missing. So that's the first reading with all the information, the chart was all changed.
Yes.
So if there was any comment, additional comment for this second reading, we don't have a comment section as comment time for a second reading because you only did it once.
So it was my understanding that we were supposed, but the corrected chart, this is what this is about, putting the corrected chart that has the language, that doesn't have the X's and the O's. That's what this is. So the reading it had already been approved. We're just putting in the actual chart in the actual document now, in the actual policy.
Right, I know the chart was last month. Was it last month was the chart? But the first reading, you're calling the first reading, there was no information there.
But
the second reading had the information, but that's actually the first reading of your change, because you're presenting what you changed. That's just my interpretation of what has happened, so, and then that's...
I would make a suggestion that to the extent there's any confusion or questions about what was or wasn't on last month's agenda, I would respectfully suggest then that the board adopt whatever's on the agenda for tonight as a first read, and then you could do it again next month. If it's not on the agenda.
It was done last.
Okay.
It was done last week. It was at the last meeting.
Okay.
It was done at the last.
Yes.
Your attorney is officially confused.
Because technically you approved the first reading where we thought it was the second reading. So in November, we will add the second reading.
All right, the president's confused now. All right, any other questions, comments as far as policy? I believe, Doc, you are curriculum? Yeah.
Okay, the curriculum committee had various educational and community programs we talked about this month. The ERI program for special education students, which aims to enhance emotional regulation and social behavior with no additional cost to the district. We have Fraser Mathematics Solutions that will provide math updates and resources for grades 7 and 8 and costing $5,627. There's going to be a Halloween movie night at MLK that's planned for October 30th to 24th with an estimated cost of $100. Margot Wright will chaperone students to Brookdale Community College for an estimated $1,500. A flu vaccination clinic and dental services for Thurgood Marshall Elementary School were approved, along with special educational and community engagement activities, including author visits, school trips at no extra cost to the district. There was another item that was on the agenda tonight that I also wanted to talk about that is up for approval, called Inside Kristallnacht, which is an XR program to offer immersive educational experiences about Kristallnacht with an advanced preview for students at the Asbury Park High School on October 29th. The event will feature Holocaust survivors Manny Lindenbaum and Jerry Lindenstrauss, who will share their personal stories. The program uses XR headsets to give students an interactive experience of Kristallnacht through the perspective of Dr. Charlotte Knobloch, a child survivor. The program is free, accessible online, and will include a curriculum for teachers to use alongside the XR experience at no cost to the district. That's the end of my report.
Questions, comments?
I had a question, of course. And I don't apologize for it. The agenda item B49 was referred to the ERI program. 2 months ago, I asked if that we could get a presentation of it because I have no knowledge of what it's about. You know, you're taking students out of less restricted environment and putting them in a restricted environment. I don't know what the process is going to be, how it's determined. And there is a cost, although it says no cost to the district, because last month on B3 number on H, we approved additional funds, didn't have an account number for teachers to teach specific subject area in this program and getting paid for the last one extra period. So I think it's important that the board knows what's involved with the program, what it's about, how it's going to be handled, what the process is, and what the cost is going to be, because there is a cost. I mean, I understand you want to save money, and that's what we should be doing, but we haven't even gotten a summary of the program. Unless people know more about it than I do. I haven't seen anything on the program at all.
As far as the ERI program, what's happening is that it's actually going to be a least restrictive environment. Instead of sending students out of district to private schools for the handicapped, they will remain in district in the ERI program. So what happens is if you have 2 or 3 students in the program, the tuition savings pays for the staff involved in the program. The district also plans to market the program to other districts, and I would fill up the additional class seats, which would then bring revenue into the district, and the revenue and the program with the combination of the savings that the district would have had by sending these students out of district and the revenue generated by students being sent to Asbury Park from other districts would more than pay for the cost of the program, and in addition, there'd be some profit involved.
No, I understand that, but as a board member, I should know what is involved and what's going on. I have to vote on this, and I understand that you have all the information, but I think it's important that board members have the information.
And I believe I just presented it to the board members tonight, prior to the vote. So you have the information that you need in order to vote for it or against it.
So I still don't know how the children are, okay, that's fine.
The children are selected.
All right,
What happens
I
is
understand.
child study teams do IEPs. That's how children are selected.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of having the children sent out of district to the most restrictive environment,
Mm-hmm.
they're kept in district in an ERI program.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer, for explaining some of the program to me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Questions, comments? Ms. Glassman, who does the finance? You do the finance, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Again, we spent a large part of the Finance Committee meeting discussing charter school compliance with residency verification. At our last meeting, this board unanimously voted down payments to any of the charter schools for the abysmal failure to verify residency of students. Letters were sent to the charter schools advising them that we would not be paying for unverified students. At the meeting, the board meeting that night, the monitor overruled the action of the board and made the payments to the charter schools. Nevertheless, by coincidence or some other reason, we have gotten virtually 100% compliance from Hope Academy and Academy Charter. So all of their students, except for I think one at one of those two schools, has been verified. College Achieve has not verified a single additional student since my last report last month, and they refuse to share any of the information that they have. Our attorney in the administrative law case has filed an appeal of the decision against the Asbury Park School District and has asked for summary judgment in favor of Asbury Park to resolve this matter to address our funding crisis.
I had one question. You know, it's a shame that, you know, we have two charter schools that comply, and they always have. And one that doesn't, they don't have to follow the law, but we do. I mean, we actually have to break the law because we're paying them for not, it's interesting. The other thing what was it I wanted to ask? I'll come back to it. I forgot what the other question I wanted to ask, but that's a shame about that, you know.
I just have one question. How do we make them comply with the residency program?
Well, that's the big question.
Because 2 out of the 3 complied, am I correct? How do we make that third one
The simple
comply?
answer is we can't.
Let's put it this way, the Department of Education, the commissioner, could require them to comply, but won't.
When are we expected to get the numbers for what we're going to be charged by College Achieve for their October 15th deadline of submitting their numbers? How long does it usually take to get, do we know what the numbers are?
I think it's November, right? I know everything is as of October 15th, but it's not right away.
It's the deadline.
Yes.
Okay, everything as of October 15th. The ASSA is due in November. The revised charter school tuition amounts will come out in December, which will be substantially reduced from what the district is paying now, because right now the district is paying based on the numbers, the estimated numbers from last May, and there's going to be about a $500,000 savings below what the district has budgeted for charter schools.
For that 500,000, how do you know that it's the decrease? I think we have reserved 14.3 million?
They wanted 14.3. I wouldn't budget 14.3 because I believed it was excessive. I think we budgeted about 12 something.
Oh, that's the 12.8?
But it's going to come in below that. As I stated at the last meeting, the county superintendent, the executive county superintendent, the executive county business administrator went to College Achieve and verified almost all of the numbers. They're still missing information on about 39 students. And unless College Achieve gives the information on those students, and then those students will not be counted in the ASSA. And when the district does the ASSA, they need to get the report from the executive county superintendent on what their verification process was, and then only include those numbers in the ASSA. What will happen next is College Achieve will put the higher numbers in, which will be about 40 numbers more. And I'm saying it's 500,000 based on their numbers. It could be, we could have more savings. And then it goes into the executive county superintendent, and they determine what the numbers are, and to get everybody to agree. As far as your court case, appealing to ALJ, until such time that the school district wins the appeal, they have to follow the order of the ALJ, which basically said you have to pay the charter schools. And I believe your attorney told you that in a letter sometime a few months ago.
I had one question. If the amount you're saying is $500,000, what is a realistic percentage of that money that would actually be recouped by the district? I can't imagine it would be $500,000.
The district, let's say, for example, the district is paying $500,000 a month. Actually, more than that, but we use 500. We'll say $1 million a month. So, and then it turns out it really should have been $800,000 a month, which is more than what it. So what happens is, come December, they do the new $800,000 a month, and then they reduce it for the overpayments from September, October, and November. And that's how the district recoups the money.
They don't base it on the count of the students that we have here? Like, I'm not quite...
They're going to base it on the count. College Achieve and Asbury Park will agree on a number of students. If they don't, then the county superintendent gets involved and...
No, I understand that, but I didn't... I would imagine it would be less money, because what you're doing is you're paying per student going out, but we may not be getting those students back. So I'm wondering what the actual effect on the budget is. Do you understand?
There may be an effect on state aid next year, but it won't affect this year.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Except it still begs the question. You make the statement that the county superintendent has independently verified 230 students. We have seen no paperwork, no evidence of any of that. And it is still our responsibility to do these verifications. And we are unwilling to accept the county superintendent's statement that he has reviewed these files. So that still shouldn't be a part of any calculation. And what we are seeing, and I'm going to repeat the number that we have at the moment, is College Achieve claims it has 290 students enrolled, of which we have verified 49.
And the executive county superintendent, I believe, has verified about 230 students. And College Achieve is saying they have about 250 students, something like that. Anyway, we will get a report. I'll request a report from the Executive County Superintendent based on the roster of College Achieve and the number, and which students were verified and which students still need to be verified. I think that's
Mr.
important for the
Chapter, we
district
would
to
like
have.
the documentation.
I agree with you, and I'm going to ask them to provide the documentation ASAP.
We need to go through the exact same process that our administrators go through for every other student in the other two schools and our own district on what documentation is sufficient. It should be the same standard applied across the board, not some blanket statement from the county superintendent.
I have a question, if I may. Walk me through the process of students transferring out of our district to any of the charter schools. When they transfer out, don't we have proof of residency as they are part of our school system? I just want to know the process of transferring out.
You mean if they attended here, K to 8, and they want to go to a charter school?
Yeah, if they
Or they've never attended our schools whatsoever?
No, I'm talking about the ones who transferred out, whether they are kindergarten.
If they were here, they come to one of the schools and they get a transfer card.
Right.
And they put down where they're going, and an administrator has to sign off on that where they are going.
So at that point, we know.
On that transfer card, they should say where that student is going. So say your 8th grader went to Martin Luther King. Next year, I want my kid to go to Academy Charter. I go to the middle school, I get a transfer card, and it says, where am I taking that kid to? It says it on there, and then the school principal or myself and Mr. Jabino have to sign off if the principal is not available. So there is a transfer card that the parent receives when they're transferring their kid out.
Okay,
and it does say where they're going.
So how did we get here with so many kids that we can verify they are actually Asbury Park students?
Ms. Ricks, the description that we just went through where we have a student that leaves us and goes to the Smith Charter School, we'll know where that student lives that year, but then we need to go through re-verification processes every so often. Some districts do it, 4th and 8th grade. Some districts do it every single year. So we will have that information for that snapshot in time. But to the extent that students no longer live in, they may move at the end of the year or mid-year. And so that's why it's important for districts, or why some districts do a whole district-wide re-registration for like 1st, 4th, 8th grade. It's not uncommon for that to happen, as it's not uncommon for students to move in and out during the year.
Because we have a lot.
And also,
I do understand that, but I'm speaking as a former truant officer. And when I was a truant officer, we verified addresses every summer. So I think we might have fallen down on the job too for the last few years, because we stopped verifying addresses of our students who were placed out of district, of students who were incarcerated, or a student who went to charter school. I think we can take some of the blame for this also.
Also, I understand College Achieve is looking to relocate. And I want to say we need to get all this information before they do find a location outside up in Middletown, because the added cost of transportation is going to be added on to these kids if we don't know exactly where they live. And that is a substantial cost that we're going to have to bear.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but the numbers I have from College Achieve They say they have 225 students from Asbury Park as of last week.
Say that they have 225 students, then how is it that the county commissioner said he verified 230?
Students may have moved out since he was there. The business administrator.
In 2 weeks?
5 students is not unheard of. And if I said 230, I may have made a mistake. Now I have the numbers in front of me. However, I'm just saying.
It's still only verified 49 for us. Whatever the number is, whatever that denominator is, the numerator is still only 49. I too am sorry for beating a dead horse, but I'm going to keep beating.
Well, it looks like we're looking like we're saving $1 million already. Let's beat that horse.
Nay.
All right. I know Remy's not here, but he was in charge of the athletic committee. But is there any reports from any committee members?
I think that's it.
I'm sorry, you on athletic, show?
No, so I think those are the only.
All right, okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
did you say athletic committee?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm on the athletic committee and we received no date, data in terms of a meeting. So as far as I know, the athletic committee did not meet.
Okay, I will reach out to Remy, Mr. Remy.
Yeah, he's really from the board.
Oh. Okay, you tell I haven't been here in a little bit.
Mr. President,
I'm sorry.
as of now, I am the only participating member on the athletic committee.
Oh, okay. But you guys haven't met?
I did not meet with them. If there was a meeting, they did not send me the agenda.
Gotcha. All right, we'll work on that then. All right. Where am I? Where's my glasses? Let's do consent agenda for, the HIV report. There's nothing to report. Am I correct?
That is correct.
All right. Let's do the September 26th minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do August 29th because we didn't have a quorum. I'm sorry, Ms. Brown.
Did anybody see the August 29th meeting minutes, executive session? It wasn't handed out last month, and that was a September's meeting. The one tonight is September's meeting. Last month, we didn't get minutes, so I didn't see minutes for August, but it didn't pass. Some people voted yes, but I never saw August's executive session minutes.
Is there?
It's probably a mistake, an error on my part. I probably didn't hand them out. I mean, you can table it and I'll just put them on for next month.
Quick question.
If nobody saw it.
Okay, so we can table it until next month. All right, let's do that.
So you want to remove it from the agenda and
Yeah.
get a different motion? You didn't make a motion, you just said we'll go to it, right? So I'll make a motion for minute approval 12, B, and C.
Second.
Questions, discussion?
I need a second. Thank you. Sorry. So motion to approve minutes 12, B, and C. Ms. Glassman?
Yes. You don't have, you don't have the minutes, Ms. Glassman.
Just regular minutes. Ms. Lisinski?
Yes.
Dr. Maksud? Dr. Penna?
Yes.
Ms. Riggs? No.
I'm going to abstain.
Mr. Rogers?
Abstain.
Mr. Grillo?
Yes.
Thank you.
We're going to items B1 to B, excuse me for a sec, to B6, B7. Where did you go?
B6.
I would respectfully want everyone to have a consent agenda for those items. I know that the superintendent's not here right now, but I would like to present those items as far as like a consent agenda.
Consent agenda B1 and B7?
Yes, ma'am.
Move it.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Ms. Ricks.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Riggs.
My question is, page B2, item G, it has that the effective date was September 1st, but it wasn't on September's agenda. It is just appearing on this agenda. Just inquiring as to why we're so late putting it on the agenda. And it started, oh, B2 item G.
I think that's just the date that they put on there, September 1st. That person has not started working, so.
It has not.
Ms. Concetta, no, she has not started working.
Oh, it did say.
I think it's just they always put September 1st.
School year.
Okay.
It's just a school year.
So we'll get an update to change the actual pay time for that individual, maybe?
Okay, the other question that I have is item B3, number 11 substitute nurses list. And then on C2, item number 6.
Wait, slow down, B3?
The nurses.
B3, number 7?
B3, number 7, substitute nurse list.
Yes, we're having a difficult time finding nurses. Dr. Penna is shaking his head. He works at a school district. We have
Nobody wants to work anymore.
the middle school nurse is out on leave. We cannot find a substitute nurse. We're contracting out with MOS, which you guys approved. We have another firm, Preferred. They're trying to get us a nurse, so your HR coordinator and myself, we sat down, it's like, all right, how about if we bring a sub, maybe offer them $47 to see what's out there, maybe a retired nurse, so we can get coverage. So that's why that's on there.
So that's why you have the C2 item number 6?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
The C2 number 6, that will help us with the early childhood, so we can do the early childhood screening for our preschool department, as well as help the nurse, because we only have one nurse at Thurgood Marshall.
Okay, I'm still on the.
I need a job.
Well, apply. Apply. You can apply as, you can apply with Preferred, you can apply with MOASC.
You can.
He can. No, I'm just.
I could do that job, but no. I'm just kidding, no, of course.
Okay, my very last question.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, Ms. Ricks.
My very last question is C3, number 7B.
We're not in C section yet. We're only in the B section, superintendent section.
Oh.
B.
Sorry, I'm stepping ahead of myself. Okay.
I had a couple questions. On B1, C, the affirmative action officer, that's in a job description we approved, well, the board approved, I guess last month, the manager of operations. So I'm not quite sure what the solution to that is. If you're going to appoint one person as the affirmative action officer, then that changes the job description of a manager of operations, because they're no longer that.
This position is going to my acting director of student services.
Okay, so the other title doesn't have that affirmative action anymore. It's going to be eliminated? That's all, that's the question I have.
No, we can have it because it's a stipend position, so it's not anything that's a full-time. But that person will not be, whoever that person is, will not be the affirmative action at this point. We needed one, and we had the director of student services.
No, I understand that. I was just, is it going to cause an issue?
Okay, we'll remove it.
Oh, I'm not doubting we need one. I just that the other job description has it in its description also. We can't have, we're not going to have two affirmative. Okay. 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 The other question, B1E, the film club advisor, it doesn't say, oh, yeah, my question is on B1E, there's not a total cost. If it's an advisor, it should have a stipend, but I don't know if we have it listed in the contract. It's $41 an hour, so you're $61.50 a day, 2 days a week, but for how long? So I don't know if, I don't know if, this hasn't been negotiated with the union, I don't think, and I don't know if we're adding it or was it in the initial collective bargaining agreement.
Which one is that?
It's B1E, the second one. Film club advisor.
We're going to look it up for you.
Ms. Lozinski, I'm trying to show it to Mr. Gerbino. Did you say B1D?
B1E, the film club advisor,
B2E.
should be a stipend, not a
E,
hourly
film
rate.
club.
I don't know, I have one. I think the agenda might have shifted since I printed it up. I printed it up earlier today. It's on B2, okay. It's the film club advisor.
Oh, yeah.
So are we leaving it?
No, it would be a, it's on.
Yeah.
Barbara, I don't understand what the problem is, other than multiplying the number of weeks remaining in the school year, the amount specified.
Yeah, but if it's not in the collective bargaining agreement, it should be a stipend position. It should be negotiated or added. It's not just $41 an hour for how long. That's not how it's, because that's not how stipends are evaluated. Stipends aren't taxed, they're not part of your salary. I mean, they're taxed, but they're not part of your salary. It's extra. A pension, it's not pensionable. I can go on to another, I have one other question, if I can just move on just to this. I didn't mean to hold it up on that. On the addenda, 1 and 2, We approved before and after school supervision last month, or in August, whatever it was. But the title of these recommendations are co-curricular advisors. And when we first approved the after-school supervision for, I guess 5 different people had it, it came out of the, I believe, a school-based budget. Now it's coming out of pre-K. So I had a question about that. They're now co-curricular advisors. They were posted.
It's a typo, Ms. Lisinski. It should read before and after care supervision.
Okay.
They were approved at the building level, but they are covering the preschool department.
Okay, so
that's not how it was given. It's just a typo. I can.
Okay, so they're still before.
They're still before and after.
There's
care.
5 people that were approved. Are all 5 people coming out of the preschool budget, or just it doesn't?
3. 1 resigned.
Okay.
So 3 are covering K to 2, and 2 that are right here, Miss Hope and.
There's no name on the other one.
There was supposed to be a name. I gave them the names.
Okay. Okay, that answered my question.
Scott Baldwin.
Okay, so that answered my question. So the title's wrong.
Yes.
It's just the same, it's the same one we approved, but you're changing where it's coming from.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Barbara?
Yes, sir.
To answer your first question, the film club advisor is not in the contract. There's a title, audio video club is in the contract.
Yeah, I understand.
So I don't know, I don't have an answer for you.
So shouldn't it be reposted as the proper position and then the stipend can be paid, or are you, because.
They should have listed the time.
I'm sorry?
We can put it on for next month.
Okay, that'll probably solve everybody's.
Because it should say how long the time is.
Yeah. It should be a stipend, so, okay, thank you. So do you want to remove that from, you'll put it on next month and remove that one? Okay.
I just had one question on B412. There was the chaperone the dream students to Brookdale. And on the days, there's one day that I guess already happened, which was the 14th, which was a holiday. Did the dream students go to Brookdale?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
These dates were given to the bus company, and they were picked up. Yep.
I was just making sure.
Yep,
Okay.
they went.
All right.
This is a motion for consent agenda B17. We're removing B2E, the film club advisor, for next month. Ms. Glassman?
Yes.
Ms. Lisinski?
All yes, except I'm going to abstain from, I don't know if it's B2 still, F and G. And the ERI program, I'm going to abstain. I don't have enough information. Other than that, everything's yes.
Dr. Maksud?
Yes.
Dr. Penna?
Yes.
Ms. Ricks?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Grillo?
Yes on all, abstain on B3 5A.
Mr. Saunders?
Yes.
Thank you. Consent agenda for C1 to C5.
Second.
questions, comments?
Okay. My question is that we're receiving a grant, which is C3, item 7B. It does not say, it says it will be used for CTE, but what CTE program will it be used for?
This is for our engineering program at the high school.
Okay, wonderful.
It used to cover allied health, law and public, but we only have the engineering program right now.
Okay, thank you.
I just had one question. When we do when we get the transfers, we're getting a summary now. We used to get an explanation from and to. So it doesn't really tell me where something's coming from and where it's going to, because it's only a summary. Can we get what we used to get? It says from one account to the other account, and it tells you where it's coming from and where it's going. This doesn't, from this, I have no idea.
Yes.
Okay, so you know why I won't be voting on that. Thank you.
You'll still be getting that one too as well, and you'll have the backup behind it. Ms. Glassman?
No as to any amounts related to College Achieve, yes as to the rest.
Ms. Lisinski?
Right now I'm gonna abstain from C1, 1, 2, and 3, and I think.
Hold on, because your page numbers are different.
Oh, you're beginning agenda 1, 2, and 3.
Got it.
And, I forgot to mention, number 8, the mural proposal. The board should really see what the mural is going to be before it's approved.
We can get that for you.
Before we approve, because accountability and stuff, the regulations,
Yes.
you're not supposed to have certain things and da-da-da-da-da.
We just wanted to put it on there so you guys were aware. I was brought up at one of the Athletic and Buildings and Grounds Committee.
Yeah, I remember it being brought up.
So we can ask the athletic director to get everything that we need so you guys can see it.
So technically, can we just put a little caveat there that the design will be approved before it's installed? Can we do that? Sure. And I'm going to vote no on number 9, consulting services. I don't know, all the consultants we have, some of our, we could, there's so many consultants, I don't know. So that's, and then we have to pay for the net, so everything else, just no on consulting services and the first 3 on your agenda. Abstain.
Abstaining on C1, 1, 2, 3. No to C3, 9. Dr. Maksud?
Yes to everything except no funding to College Achieve. Please.
Dr. Penna?
No on anything to do with College Achieve, yes on everything else.
Ms. Riggs?
Abstaining on C1, I'm abstaining on 1, 2, 3. I am voting no on 9. Everything else, yes.
No to C3, 9?
Let me go back. Yes, no on C3, 9.
And you're saying yes to everything else?
Yes. to
Including
everything
College
else.
Achieve payments?
Including College Achieve. It's the law, so I follow the law.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes to. No to College Achieve, and that's yes to everything else.
Mr. Grillo?
Yes to everything except no to any funds going to College Achieve, and I'm abstaining on any payments to any public
Thank you.
As my,
Dun, dun, dun.
That is
by my authority of state monitor, I've overridden the board on College Achieve and approving the payment.
Okay. We still got more work to do.
Honestly, and I'm gonna keep saying it, let us be held in contempt. I don't understand why you keep overruling us.
It's the law, and I've been instructed to do so. Okay.
Well, then, you've been instructed to do so, it's not the law per se. Decision is still under appeal.
I have a motion to go into executive session, whereas the Open Public Meeting Act allows for the exclusion from discussion at public portions of the meetings of certain matters as outlined below. Whereas the Asbury Park Board of Education wishes to discuss such matters made and will make such discussions public when a proper conclusion has been reached. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education will hold closed executive session on this date of October 17th at Asbury Park, New Jersey, for the purpose of, as outlined and as described below. Upon returning, actions may be taken.
So the board will be going into executive session for approximately 20 minutes to discuss personnel matters and to receive attorney-client advice. That's it. No action will be taken in executive session. To the extent the board's going to take any action, it'll be done out in public, back in this room, after about 20 minutes' time. Thank you.
Meeting again.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now you have to have a roll call coming out of exec.
All right, let's
I
do
thought the first one was motion to come back from exec, right? So Ms. Ricks and Dr. Penna, first and second. Ms. Glassman,
Yes.
Ms. Lisinski, Dr. Maksud,
Yes.
Dr. Penna,
Yes.
Ms. Ricks,
Yes.
Mr. Rogers, Mr. Grillo,
Yes.
Mr. Saunders.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Pat Madden Esquire to investigate the employment of employee PCR number 1200001-00001.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes, it's a personnel matter.
Ms. Glassman,
Yes.
Ms. Lisinski,
I'm going to have to vote no. I don't have enough information to make an informed decision,
Dr. Maksud.
or any information.
Thank you. Dr. Penna?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Ricks? Abstain. Mr.
I
Rogers?
abstain.
Mr. Grillo?
Yes.
Mr. Saunders?
Yes.
Pass.
I want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Roll call.
Did we?
I make a motion to adjourn.
What's that?
I made a motion to adjourn, and I think.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Get the hell out of here. Hey, listen.